Hello everyone. Today I'm going to go over my Space Marine Crusade list for 10th edition. I am doing the Watch Knights chapter. It is a self-created chapter. It is an all Primaris chapter founded during the Indomitus Crusade. It has as a heritage Imperial Fists, so they are basically good at building fortifications and then launching raids out from those fortified areas to deal with problems that arise. And they have been stationed along the Great Rift, and then they send out groups. They are in charge of around 30 planets, and the concept of the army, for those of you who watch Game of Thrones and have seen the Night's Watch, where they are on the wall and they are sending out parties into the abyss and out into the wilderness to take care of things, that is basically the theme of this army. And so I have called them the Watch Knights instead of the Night's Watch. And they are from the Sons of Dorne. And for our initial 2,000 points, I didn't take a single enhancement, simply because the new Marine Codex will be out shortly. And once that Marine Codex is out, I'm sure there will be all kinds of nice enhancements I could use. Instead, I spent everything I can to get a 2,000 point army. And for my initial army that I would play at 2,000 points, I went with a full up mech list. So everything with the exception of one 10-man squad and the Invictor Warsuit is either mounted or fast moving. You have Outriders, you have Inceptors, everything else is mounted and capable of striking extremely fast. So this is a ranging / raiding party from the Watch Knights, and that'll be the initial list. I can play it at large scale games. I can also pair some of this off to do combat patrols or boarding actions to gain more points, and eventually I'll try to get the order of battle big enough where I can build a couple of different themed lists based on the Watch Knights history. Please watch in the rest of this video and go over each unit and its role and why I chose it. So our first selection for Crusade is our Crusade leader, and we are going to go with Captain Drusus, Captain in Gravis armor. We did not give him any enhancements, as the Space Marine Codex will be probably coming out within the next 2 months, and quite frankly, I'll just wait to see what the enhancements are there. I preferred to spend the points on actually getting a larger starting Crusade force. So we will actually probably go back and add in something to him later using a requisition point. But for now, he will be leading our Crusade force of Watch Knights. Aiding Captain Drusus is the Chaplain Evocartus. Evocartus is a standard Primaris Chaplain. Again, he has no enhancements as of yet. We're going to wait and see what happens with that. But he is good for small, like the Captain, he's good for big games and smaller games, and we can also use him quite well in boarding action as well. Our first troop choice for our Crusade force is Squad 4-1. It is an intercessor squad, good for large and small games, and also ideally sized for boarding action as well. It's a good solid starting squad. Next up, we have Squad 1-2, a 10-man intercessor squad with bolt rifles. This is a good solid support squad. I can use it in boarding action, broken up into 2 5-man squads. I typically won't do that. It's a good holding squad for larger games and a decent squad for mid-level games. Last of our troop selection for the initial is Squad 1-3, a 5-man assault squad. The sergeant does have a thunder hammer and a hand flamer. This is ideally used for boarding action, and it works out pretty good in small to mid-sized games, and actually has a role to play in large-sized games when paired up with an impulsor. Next up among the elites, we have a 3-man aggressor squad with the flamestorm cannons. These are ideally suited for boarding actions, small actions, and also larger scale games, and they'll typically be accompanying either the chaplain or the captain. Also among the elites, we have 3 blade guard that again will either accompany the Captain Drusus or Chaplain Invocatus, and these are a good solid addition. They'll also be transported in the initial list along with everyone but Squad Alpha 2 or Squad 1 2, and very good for boarding action and good at larger games as well. Next up, we have a 3-man Inceptor squad with the Assault Bolters. This is more, they might be useful in patrol. They'll give me some tactical flexibility. I can throw it in a bunch of different lists, use their deep strike ability to get them in, maybe to counter objectives. I'm not quite sure yet. With the current list, the initial list, if I run it as 2K, they are a fast-moving traveling support squad. And before anyone comments in the comment sections, yes, I know Plasma probably would have been better, but these are the ones from the starter box, and those were the only ones I had, so that's why they are the way they are. Next up, we have an Outrider squad. These can be useful in larger games as more of a support squad, accompanying the mechanized units, or I might even throw them in a patrol as something fast-moving, depending where the narrative takes us, what kind of game I'm playing, and against the opponent. And again, before someone comments, among our group we had quite a discussion that Outriders are nowhere near as good as regular Marine bikes. However, this is an all-Primaris army, so as such I had to go with Outriders instead of regular bikes. And next we have our first Repulsor. This is the one used by Captain Drusus. Normally he is carrying a squad of either Blade Guard or the Aggressors with him. This is an anti-vehicle unit, as well as being able to throw down a ton of anti-infantry fire and safely deliver a potent strike force. So this is a mainstay of the army. Then we have our second Repulsor, which carries the Chaplain and either the Blade Guard or the Aggressors, depending on what he's carrying that day. There are times where maybe, just maybe, I'll even throw the 10-man Squad 1-2 in here as well, just to move them on up and have them claim an objective. Again, this is my main anti-tank defense, are the 2 Repulsors, as well as the ability to lay down quite a smackdown on any infantry that gets nearby and deliver key units to key points on the battlefield. And our third heavy support is a Gladiator Valiant. It is our other anti-tank with the multi-meltas and tri-las cannon. It is again meant to take out enemy armor and also to draw fire away a little bit if it can from the Repulsors. We then have our first Impulsor. This is the command variant, because originally last edition was used to call in additional orbital strikes. This will transport either Squad 1-1 or Squad 1-3, the Assault Marines, Assault Intercessors. And it's designed to get them through the battlefield, and it has a fair amount of battle firepower even still. Then we have our second Impulsor, geared up heavily for anti-infantry. It will deliver either the 5-man Assault Intercessor Squad or drop off the regular Intercessor Squad and provide additional fire support for it, and should allow us to reach out quickly, grab an objective, and be able to have the firepower to hold it off from most other infantry. And then we have the Storm Speeder Hail Strike at 130 points. This will be accompanying the forces. It's a alpha strike thing designed to just hammer any large formations of troops and just soften things up for the main assault. I know in the past these haven't been all that good with the new vehicle rules. I haven't tried this out yet, so I don't know how good it is, but I just like the model. I like the original storm or land speeders and the like. So, but being as this is a Primaris army, I have to go with the Storm Speeder variants, and I actually just kind of like the model, and I like the feel of it. It's basically an assault helicopter piling in and pounding the area prior to the main assault arriving. And then finally, we have an Invictor Warsuit. It is to provide fire support for the squad on the ground in this 2,000 point list, and it is a pretty good objective holder. It'll back up an Interceptor squad, provides a decent hand-to-hand punch, and a lot more additional firepower for anything that pops up. And yeah, it doesn't fit in with the rest of the fast-moving mech list, but I'll always have one squad that is not mounted up, and so this will be kind of an objective camper along with a 10-man intercessor squad on the initial 2,000 points of the Watch Knights Space Marines chapter Crusade list. Going forward in the Crusade, what I plan on spending my points and requisition points that I get on additional units, and the main goal going forward will be to pick up units from Phobos units, the snipers, the chaplain, get a few more characters, and just basically try to build up Shadow Spear detachments so I can play two different styles of games. Yes, I have the mech unit, then I want to be able to play Shadow Spear. I'm working on the initial box release for Leviathan to add more variety, and I will add them in at times. However, I'm wanting to have a mechanized army, a Shadow Spear style army, and then also I'm thinking I might actually want a fortification heavy army, something with hammerfall bunkers and maybe a defense line or two mixed in with as much infantry as possible given the background of this chapter. But that is moving forward what I'm currently planning, just so I can play a variety of different narrative games. Thank you for watching. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please hit like and subscribe down below. Thank you.